Vous êtes en direct. You are live on the Friday Live Agile with your host, and already a like. You're amazing. Yes, I'm about 6 minutes late, but because I had a great conversation for our Dare Real Agile podcast, I'm so very happy. What an amazing time we're living in. If you could, if you put your perspective into 1221 here in Montreal, I love these numbers. I love these numbers. It's speaking to you. Is it speaking to you? It's speaking to me. So let's see again if we are properly into the live sense chat, right? So a lot of things is happening. I'm happy. I'm thankful. So let's see. Do you have sound here?
I'm thankful. So
Yes.
Do you have sound here? I'm thankful.
Wow. Sorry for the feedback of testing the things when your team is off. We are Friday, June the 18th. So as I said, for the Dare Real Agile podcast and for the next week show on the 25th, I know it's going to be Inti Raymi and Peru, the celebration of the sun on June the 24th, as well for the French Canada or Quebec. That will be Saint Jean Baptiste, the Saint John the Baptist, which is actually the same thing. And the Southern Hemisphere is celebrating the fact that the sun will rise again. Yes, this is their Christmas. In Peru, the Inca that I salute. But of course, today, and yes, why not? Because if we want to talk about diversity, inclusion, and I'm going to go back there really soon, this report from the Business Agility Institute. And that should have been a conversation, but I just had one great conversation with Daniel Mizik. Go see him at danielmizik.com to know more about this great guy that I met. I should have met actually with Mike Beadle and the for Business Agility, but that finally, yeah, I never had the chance to meet him. Now, virtually, he was kind enough to participate into my project of the Dare Real Agile podcast on everything about business agility, conscious leadership, and so on. And so that was a great talk about a lot of things. So next week, it's going to be a live premiere here on this Friday Live Agile. So the Friday Live Agile will be probably replaced by it, or I'm going to do a double show. I don't know. It's going to depend of the holidays we have here in Quebec. As you know, it is our national day, kind of, the Saint Jean Baptiste on June the 24th. So maybe, just maybe, I will be doing the regular live show like right now around noonish. And at 11, I'm going to be premiering the podcast that we just recorded now. So this is why I'm late a little bit. So thank you once again. I know I'm taking the high risk of not having your attention or your intention doing this live on a Friday. But for me, Friday, it's as a busy entrepreneur and consultant and business owner, that's the time that I just do oof and talked about things. So I'm going to be really frank with you guys. I didn't read the entire paper yet. So, because I was so busy this week, and I'm thankful to be busy, and I'm not saying that busy as being annoying. No, it's just like it's my third week back, but not back. Passing here in Montreal. And I met so many future clients. I also tried to help my 3 new clients into specific things. So at some point, it makes yourself occupied, but I'm also busy in my mind, building things and constructing things to better this world we are living in. And this is why for me, COVID, again, it's create your own vision and detail. This is the meaning of COVID for me. Create your own vision and detail. And I'm inviting you to do the same. To have this perspective, not of a pinky sunglasses and the unicorn and a rainbow world. No, I'm inviting you to try to have a perspective more open, more constructive, more creative, right? So for me, when I heard the first time about gosh, I should improve my English, apparently. No, I don't know. Diversity, equity, and inclusion by the Business Agility Institute. So they made a survey, okay? They made a survey. I think last year. You could download it at businessagility.institute. I will provide the link in the description below if it's not already done. So throughout 2020 and early 2021, the institute interviewed and surveyed about 400 people. And so far, from what I read on these statistics, it's mostly people from Southeast Asia and India. So, guys, you could, off the bat right now, if you want to talk about diversity and inclusivity, why on your graph I don't see South America, Latin America? None. And we all know that Brazil right now, okay, a Latin American country of Portuguese language, they are thriving, especially in DevOps and business agility and enterprise Scrum. No mention in your report that you survey people around this great continent and subcontinent of South America. So already there, you get me on my edge, Mr. Evan LeBron. And yes, I'm calling you out. So, and they said they collect the experience and insight on all Agile and this DE&I, which is diversity. I always miss that. Equity, yes, and inclusion. So one of my questions here, I myself, no, it's wrong. The way I said it's wrong. With my team and with some other contributors and some not like-minded people, no. I like disagreeable people who will challenge me. I like constructive challenge. Disruption, but with respect. Even if we don't earn respect, we have to build it in our interaction. But I'm all for invitation space, open space, not safe space. I am for authenticity with civism, not for politically correctness with bullshit. So, agile ways of working are not consciously designed to create, encourage, or support diverse and inclusive teams. Oh man, that's a statement from that report. Really? Really? If you think that way, guys, if you're a bunch of consultants who think that the agile ways of working are not consciously designed to create, encourage, or support diverse and inclusive teams, it's because you don't understand subsumption. Therefore, you don't understand the empirism that you need to help and facilitate people to adopt the sets of value and principle. But more importantly, from this value and principle, how do you bridge it to patterns? I just learned it, actually. I kind of knew it, but it was beautifully explained by my colleague in this podcast we just recorded. And we're going to be available for you next Friday on all channels. YouTube channel, visual, and if you prefer to run with me on the DE&I Agile podcast, you're going to have it. So a lot of people, they will think that the manifesto values and principle, and they go right away to the practice. That's one of the big mistakes. So anyways, and I think right now the Business Agility Institute is making a kind of a mistake. Again, let's be honest and objective here. I didn't read the entire 55 page yet. I read mostly of the introduction, the definition they made of inclusion, equity, diversity, and the business agility. And actually, right away, I prefer the group of 19 we were in Chicago in 2017, if I'm right, about the definition, the proposed definition of business agility via Enterprise Scrum, inspired by Steve Denning of Radical Management. Yes, than the one they put here. But let's give them. It's their show today of the Business Agility Institute with that report on all agile business agility could intersect with these type of values. So they define business agility as a set of organizational capabilities, behaviors, and ways of working that afford a business the freedom, flexibility, and resilience to achieve its purpose, no matter what the future brings. I think I'm smart enough. I'm also hypersensitive. Did you get something here? So let me read you, and they don't say it's a proposal. They say it's the definition. I think. Maybe I'm not doing that, but they say is a set of organizational capabilities, behaviors, and ways. Well, let me tell you something. Let me go to the one I love, the one that you could have on my website at agile-launch.com, and you go and you choose business agility tag. Let's scale your business beyond software and IT. So business agility is the future of management. This is a quote from Steve Denning. So what is business agility? A lot of people will ask you that. So I'm dedicating a channel here on YouTube about business agility and conscious leadership. It's an equation to make conscious agility. And we're going to see about what we are co-creating. My tribe and I, my self-organized community of real agile people, because agile is not a thing you buy, and agile is common sense, and agile existed before the manifesto. Agile is an adjective that show you how you could adapt and change and transform. More importantly than change is transform. So what is business agility according to 19 contributors surrounded by Mike Beadle with the Enterprise Scrum? And as I remind you guys, I was blessed to have Mike Beadle and the Enterprise Scrum family that I cherish a lot as a mentor and teacher since mostly about 2016, but I met him in 2011. And we took, I said we, my team and I, we took his course in March 2018, the very month he left this earth. And I became the first organization, Agile Lounge for Business Agility, and myself as an individual, I became the first in Canada to be certified by him on Enterprise Scrum, certified business agility coach, CBAC. And you know my point on certification, and him too. We don't fucking care about certification. What we care is the interaction, the pattern we create, and how we could actually teach the practice. So, Mike and his team created a working group of Enterprise Scrum practitioners back in 2016, formed by executives, manager, consultant, coaches, and trainer. Could you imagine that? That's a real broad of diversity. That through months of painful debates and opinions, came to an agreement as to what business agility meant. And they are humble and open and inviting enough to say the following. This is our definition. It's a definition, not the only definition of business agility. And it goes like this. Remember what I just read to you from the Business Agility Institute? Let's read Enterprise Scrum family. Business agility is the ability to adapt quickly and effectively to all forms of change to deliver maximum value and customer experience, people first. I'm pausing right now because I could just imagine people scratching their head right now. People that follow me, and by the way, thanks again. Oh, a second like. Thank you so much. I love you guys. But I don't see much people live. So I hope the replay is going to be better. And I will try for your attention span to keep it in the range of little things. But so now we just define the Business Agility Institute definition of business agility. And the one from the Enterprise Scrum family, talking about people experience. Business agility, one of the outcomes when you invite people to adapt patterns and practice, it's delivering maximum value and business and the customer experience and business. And this is why with my co-creation right now of conscious agility, I'm inviting you guys, every one of you out there that want to make a difference, being able to propose and activate progress, the activation of progress. and being able to see the result, the outcome of these progress that we could make together as a society. Because next level agile for me, to tell you quite simple, it's really about it. So let me define you my first draft of how I describe what is next level agile proposed by the Agile Lounge for business agility. So if business agility is agility beyond IT and software development, with the definition we just did from Mike Beadle and the family of Enterprise Scrum, then next level agile is business agility at a higher level, offering to everyone the possibility to evolve, transform, and creation a more meaningful and intelligent life as a whole and a career experience. That's my first draft. That's my next level or NLA version 0.3. Okay? And we're gonna evolve. I'm gonna want to see the progress about what I've learned and what I could be challenged at. So, guys, just a quick story here. I was doing the great week of the Greater Reset, the People's Reset, between May 24th to May the 28th. That was a great collaboration. I was very pleased and happy, and I'm feeling grateful that I met John Bush, Derek Braz, I think Melanie Sarah, Angel Blends, Kathy Menard, and all of these people who want to have their personal sovereignty and they want to evolve into a more self-organized and open society. Because at the basic, every organism are open and self-organized. And it's other organism that will come and try to control your thought, to control with a narrative, and to impose some kind of control. And for this to work, they need central planning. They need a central ways of modeling the thinking. And they don't show openness. They will talk about openness, but they are not really open. And when I did my special event, my watch party on the 25th of May, replacing the Scrum Beer, I was really pleased to see one of the Enterprise Scrum family joining us and other very meaningful people. And there were one person who talked about this paper from Evan. And as I spoke sometimes to Evan, I knew it was coming. But I still don't see the purpose of this exercise, this agency. What is the agency? What is the research all about? They are calling the agile is a mindset and a way of working that allows teams to leverage their unique skills and deliver maximum value to customers. Isn't it? Isn't it what the 20 people of Enterprise Scrum family actually define business agility? So excuse me, Evan, but you should have fair respect to Mike Beadle and the bunch of, they work on it. In adaptive manner. And then you call the question diversity, equity, and inclusion. What we could reduce at DEI. Encompass the efforts of any institution takes towards creating a welcoming and supportive environment for all their employees. Already you use a word that disgusts me, employees, instead of people they work, the workers, and customers. These two concepts go hand in hand. Well, objectively, I agree with you guys. But again, what is your intention here? What is your intention? Because the core of the Agile movement is people first. And we don't want to have an intersection. Because when I read the first part of this report, mentioning that consultant, leaders, and Agile coach do not understand these concepts of diversity and not engagement, sorry. The EY. Equity. Equity or equality? Or isn't it like take your place, not the place of others? But if some people are not capable to take their place, even if we offer them and inviting them to do so. It's on invitation. It's an opt-in thing. So I got a problem here with the ways the Business Agility Institute is going in the last year. I think you are not going to survive the crisis we are in. I think you're not putting yourself ready because there's two things. There's too much pen on research that is not meaningful for the entire world and for the entire space of Agile, the Agile space, we call it. And you are drifting away the purpose mission of real inclusiveness. That's my thought first. And especially, I know Evan and his team was working on it, like they work on a lot of complicated things, which is not agile. Because I remind you guys, when you put complexity in between your understanding of a thing and the thing you'd like to achieve as an outcome, it's because you create what I will call boldly a sabotaging thing. When you talk about diversity, but you're not welcoming and inviting all the specter of ideas, even if there's some very disruptive, even if there's some you will find disrespectful according to your perspective. I'm not saying that we should welcome. Actually, yes, I'm saying we should welcome everything, even things that displease us. I cannot cite perfectly right now because my mind is all bumbling. But Professor Jordan Peterson, and I will probably in the first comment after this live put the link to one of his proposition on the agreeableness or disagreeableness. That's something that made me think. I don't want to find any excuses, but I will have to tell you the truth that when it's been introduced to me by this ladies and asking a question, the movement, the agile space, but she employed the agile movement, and she was inspired by what she read on the this report of DE&I intersectioning with business agility, and they forget the conscious leadership. You need to address the C-level and the enterprise realm, and you also need to address the governance. And so far, I said, I didn't read everything yet, so maybe we're going to do a part 2 only if my audience wants to hear more about it. Because I will value your time and my time and your interest and your intention. So nevertheless, so far what I see is part of our space of business agility drifting away the knowledge and the application of patterns that could help society, organization, team, and individual to move onward in their life, to get a better experience. A lot of people talk about like continuous about development, of course, but I'm continuous improvement. I'm part of a family of coaches. Nothing to do about Agile. It's just like coaches, an entrepreneur, the entrepreneur life, the entrepreneur lifestyle club. And when we meet together, we do talk not about personal growth. That's bullshit. But we talk about this being the better and the smarter version of ourselves to show up in the world and do what we love. Yes, we have to keep it simple like this. And then there's a lot of my colleagues that talk about continuous improvement of organization and teams and so on. But they don't know exactly how to measure progress. Because how do you measure progress? And I think Daniel Mizik to remind me that today in our recording of this podcast that's coming up next Friday. Be there. So on that, guys, for me is ask ask yourself this question. I don't know if it's the right question, but why did you put in the middle of a crisis, in the middle of a pandemic? And again, I'm not here to believe or not believing it. Like, make up your mind. I don't care. Okay, I don't care. We went through something. Whatever your beliefs is, we went through something in 2020. So you put effort and times and to survey. And again, as I said, like, they survey Southeast Asia mostly, which is include Oceania, the subcontinent of Asia, including India, Africa barely, South America barely. So what about the BRICS? I didn't see anything about like Russia statement, and even European and North American are very low in the people survey. I don't know if it was on invitation or if you create a panel. So I will have to read back again on their methodology, okay, for this kind of survey. But for me, it seems to be a common to really try to propose. I hope it's a proposition because I have a say about it. My Scrum and Lean and Agile family have a say about it. We won't let you go like this, like reimagining agility. The basic of Agile is continuous improvement anyways. Is not an end as itself. It's something to help you between chaos and boring space. It's something to adapt to clear patterns and situation, and to moreover create patterns to reimagining not agility, but the way you do things, the way you produce, the way you consume. For me, I prefer to work with the people's reset and the conscious activation movement and the conscious leadership movement from now on, than to work with all of these institutes of business agility that, according to me, are in the mainstream agenda of telling you how to think and what to think and stuff like this. So, to tell you the truth, it's my second deception so far from a business agility institute that my mentor was telling me it's important to be part of. Last time I was there was 2019, and I start there not being deceived, but being like, this is not my tribe. I try to invite them. I don't feel they invite me, or I should say they don't welcome me that much. And I see that, especially when the chapter of Montreal, run by a guy who don't know shit about agility, and the first meetup of the Business Agility Montreal that I should have been as the first certified on business agility, working on it since 2009 with the blockchain movement, because for me business agility was the evolution of the Agile Manifesto, bringing it beyond IT, and with this blockchain protocol that was building the Bitcoin. Anyways, so I'm in it like, okay, of course the time is not important and this and that, but for God's sake, I've got experience trying to make a pattern of it for decision making and others. So I'm very, very, how could I say that? So I didn't feel it. When Mike was alive and Suriru and our team of the New Yorkers, it was great to meet to the Business Agility Institute. But it seems like since our father left, and to 2019, I was invited to a restaurant in Manhattan after a conference, and I was talking with people from ING, from Sputnik, and a great lady from England. And I said, like, no, this is not really inviting. This is not a space I want to go. And people were like, bah, bah, bah. And now the leadership, if we could call it the leadership of this institute, when I went to a meetup last spring, about a virtual meetup, and this group of researchers was talking that it was coming in May. I think it dropped in May the 23rd, just prior to our week of People's Reset, where the real stuff of business agility and conscious leadership was happening. So they dropped this report talking about all the mainstream, not even mind setting, but mind fucking you. Because, the words are important. And when you talk about intersection, and when you try to put a line of division between people, I am so sorry to say that, but I don't see any inclusion into that. And let's see how this report came out to survey the people. Because I give you the definition of business agility, but the common definition here, even let's say just agile, is the ability to create and respond to change. Good. It's a way of dealing. It's a way of dealing with and ultimately succeeding in an uncertain and turbulent environment. Okay, kind of. But you see the mindset here. Anyways. And now, how do they define the DE&I? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Is a broad approach which includes all efforts made by organization to ensure they are creating and maintaining an environment that is welcoming and supportive for all people. So far, so good. For the purposes of this report, we will define each individual market. It's a broad approach which includes all efforts made by the organization to ensure they are creating and maintaining an environment that is welcoming and supportive for all people. Well, agile and agility intrinsically should be doing that. But me, the one I cherish more is my question between these co-creation of conscious leadership and conscious agility, invitation, and open space, true open space, not safe space, and being disagreeable with civism. And how the inclusion, so let's read their proposition of inclusion, is the act of welcoming, okay, so far I like it, and applying the mix created through diversity. Inclusion is focused on fostering the structural systems, processes, culture, behavior, and mindset that embrace and respect all people in all our diversity. Inclusion exists when all people are valued and able to participate and contribute to their fullest. Hey guys, you have your name here. Principal contributor, Mark Green, Haché Sexana, Aviva Israel, Dina Spotworth, Ignacio Enchusti, Isabel Kluger, Yasmin Chamizo, Rakesh Sain, Rutu Parnakar, Yuwen Mack, Zita Mackenzie Lubis, and edited by Christopher Roos, and comment by Evan Lebrun. Have you ever went into an open space to create engagement and distributed decision? What is more important? Feeling included or really welcome? As a business agility coach, guys, I will make sure that I create a learning environment for those to adapt what I coach, whether it's entrepreneurial, Because yes, I'm not just an agile coach. Business agility could serve to help you spark your life, your dream life of entrepreneur, creating your own business, doing what you love. So I make sure I'm creating a space that will welcome this, that will spark the fact that you're going to work on yourself first, and then collectively you'll be able to show up in the world. And the diversity actually for me is no base on race, because there's only one race. So people forget so much who they are individually and collectively, that we have these people distracting themselves using words and defining those words to make another sense of the basic and the natural cosmic way that they were meant to help us interact and inviting us. I said previously into another conversation that I started meeting a lot of people, especially in their 20s, that work in decentralized finance and also innovative type of digital transformation. And they are empirically experimenting and try patterns and process. And they don't need to name it agile or agility. But they ask me to help them making some kind of inviting structure. But not so much in the structure. They want the people interaction first, right? Because they aim to produce some value and to make sure that those who are going to use their application will be pleased and have a nice experience. Bottom line, that's the bottom line. It's bottom line agility. It's conscious leadership as it's for. So, do I want to be a member of an institute that want to certify organization that adopt some kind of standard of practice instead of patterns? That was my first deception last spring in the meetup on Zoom. That had me have a private call with Evan, and I think he feels shaky of my reaction, and I wasn't the only one. And actually, this is gonna die. This is gonna die because we don't have time to spend certify our organization. We already awakening ourselves to say even the individual certification is bullshit. Because why are we this need to prove with a label of something? Even if I kind of did it at the beginning of this show, right? I'm admit it. But it's part of a story. It's part of an experience. But the fundamental, being conscious require a lot of energy. A lot. So it's easy to be into the subconscious mind and subconscious activity of doing thing instead of being. You're with me on this? Make sense? Tell me in the comment. Please tell me in the comment. Tell me your perspective in the comment. I'd like to be on your side of the table. And now what I see with this institute, and they came out with that report. And frankly, yes, I didn't read it. I will finish reading it. And if I've got some other thoughts, I'll come. And I really, really, really do my best to be unconscious, but it requires a lot of energy to be unconscious objectivity here. Because I really try to understand what is the purpose. What, for me, it was not meaningful at all. And even though your colleague that came into my event of People's Reset, proposing self-managed, decentralized ways, using or not business agility mindset, and she came and crashed my event, our event of people, of capable people who would like to transform the patterns. Speaking and utilizing your paper, your research, that you survey people not equal in the world. Southeast Asia. This is for Southeast Asia and Oceania. Sorry, my friend. It's in your stat on the first page. Nothing about Latam. Barely nothing about Europe and North America. It's all in Southeast Asia subcontinent. Again, I'm disgracing, but this already as a scientific myself, fuck it. Fuck it, even. It's not representative. And I would love to see the questionnaire. But anyways, and that lady coming up, she was not inviting, but she spread the word of all of these DEI. It's so important to her, and we should question ourselves. And they were bringing this kind of COVID situation and adaptation and the equity treatment of those in front of health. Excuse me. First, that has nothing to do with necessarily transforming the world, and especially nothing to do with this version of a coronavirus that we have right now. Okay? Conscious people, agile or not, but of course the conscious people will understand that they need to be agile to survive and thrive. And this is nothing to do with software development. Actually, if you listen to our podcast with Daniel Music and software development, we expand on this. We expand on having an agile mindset in complex environment. This is the two important things. Because if you're not in chaos, you don't need to be agile. You don't need to adapt. You don't need to react. You don't need to act. So chaos and radical management and disagreeableness will create you the fact that if you're not agile for one sense, you won't be able to escape this crisis. So for me, asking the agile coach, asking without inviting them to question themselves about Haiti not having the same treatment of Germany in terms of vaccination, based on this equity, diversity, and inclusiveness paper that she read. Great effort, but it's not appealing for one sense because it's not true, it's not authentic, and it's part of a game. It's a gaming space. It's a gaming space of mind fucking. Because the value we should focus on. Because for me, I think diversity is expressing itself by capable, self-confident individual. And as I was saying, and I'll try to finish on it, diversity is not based on race. It's only one human race. Yeah, that's it. I'm looping back now. I'm going to finish on that to kind of despise this useless effort that is not even intellectually capable to the advancement of conscious leadership and business agility. Because for me, the real advancement, the real question we should ask, like in the book of Isaac Asimov, you didn't ask the right question, so you get this kind of wrong response. You get this kind of mainstream PCBS. I'm really inviting you. I would love to welcome you into space, open space, of using the high energy of consciousness to address the fact that when you say diversity, it's division. You need to project the division to create false diversity and false sense of equity. And then inclusion instead of opting in. Because human is human. And I prefer to have a multitude, a cosmogeny. Cosmopolitanism is for me higher, is the conscious level of the subconscious of diversity. Diversity serves as protecting the division that we have among ourselves created by the labeling of people. Do you get me here? Because when you want absolutely to see there's a black people in the room, but you don't want to see the big pink elephant in the room, I got a problem of inclusiveness here. Because for me, I don't see a white guy or a black guy or a yellow guy. I see a human being with his or her behavior, because that's the other thing. The gender, not the sex, the gender. Now we try to go into the Sanskrit, esoterically Sanskrit, old religion of India, to propose there's a multitude of genders and to fuck up science. And then the diversity and inclusion, and we are in the Pride Month. No, there's not two genders. So they're creating more division. They section. They make it more section. It's incredible, guys. You are in the dark age with those distractions. So I think I might finish reading the paper, but I'm asking my followers now here on YouTube, and I thank you. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe, hit the bell, and meet me every Friday, noonish Eastern Time, North America, to talk about all things business agility and conscious leadership, and how this is affecting our perspective, and how we could create patterns to create a smarter world, continuously in movement. So for me, again, my community that is not in the agile space, not in my space, to just prove me again that we could waste time and energy into the unconscious, not even the subconscious, but the unconscious level, the geosphere, very materialistic, very sensually. Because when you claim you want to be inclusive with the diversity, it's because you are dividing. Because in diversity, it's division. Now they want to create more genders. You know, the Zulu people in South Africa, or even Botswana, and they taught me a great lesson. Before the schism on this planet, the human race was one, and they were only Aphrodites. So since the schism, we are constantly dividing. And what I see right now in the world of this dark age, following the crisis we just had, it's people putting, again, their energy and effort into reacting to the division, thinking they talked about diversity and inclusion, but in fact, they just making sure they maintain the exclusion. And by the way, they are the same people who advocate right now that for those who express the medical sovereignty, the health sovereignty of not getting experimental shot to their body, they should be excluded. They should be excluded. They should not be able to travel. They should not be able to go to some places. This is completely anti-scientific. It's anti-patterns. It's anti-agile. It's anti-human. And it's also anti what they preach about diversity, equity, and inclusion. They will exclude people based on no science. And by the way, if you're immune naturally by your immune system or because you've been sick or by a real vaccine that will actually help you immune system kick off, you are protected. So who cares if in the plane or the resort or any other event, there's people who might carry the bacteria or the virus? If you are fucking immune, do you get it? It's basic science. Even the kids on the 3rd grade of high school, they fucking catch it. But now the collective pods, they work for weeks and months asking our money as members or donator to talk about inclusivity, and they're the first also to post fucking bullshit on LinkedIn saying we should have green passes to prevent the non-vaccinated to enter a place or to travel. Big fuck you guys. You don't get it. I'm sorry, but you don't get it. You're not there. You're not conscious. You are a subhuman fucking slave. Your mind is fucked. And that lady, I could not get along with her because she's a pod. She distracted and destroyed the good spirit we had that week. And I let it happen. And I apologize for my tribe. And I apologize to myself too. I should not ever let it happen. Ever. But that's part of my improvement. That was a fail into a greater win. Because the greater reset, the people's reset, the decentralized finance, the real business agility, the conscious leadership will prevail. Everything we are building and co-creating, inviting people, you have to opt in. You don't want to opt in? That's okay. We love you. We're going to let you do your things. And I'm asking you again, like I did in French interview of Radio Playa with Cathy Simard. I'm asking you again. Live and let live. That is the real diversity and inclusion based on the human interaction and the human experience that we do here on this planet. No more bullshit or politically correctness about all of those terms that are meaningless if you are not living the experience of inviting people. Do you get me, guys? Are you with me on this? Is that making sense? If it does, please like this video, share it to enlighten people, use the timer if you don't want to watch the entire hour, and please subscribe, hit the bell. I thank you for my 5 new followers this week, and be ready for next week, maybe a double program, the premiere with Daniel Mizik on the DE&I Agile podcast, and it's going to be for sure on the podcast of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, and many more. And we are working on the Amazon Prime podcast as well. And I thank you so very much for your encouragement. I received so much love and so much great email. And yes, your proposal subject will kick off. Probably this summer it's going to be like, because we're going to have more, less and less viewers. So if subject are meaningful, I'd like to have a time like in fall to actually address it. So expect more truthfulness, mindfulness of what we try to achieve here, to be different, together and different, and the real diversity and the real inclusion of inviting you to opt in. You never force anything on it, and I'm asking you again, as I was saying, let us be, and we'll let you be. Reciprocity. It's even more important than being agreeable, I think. So on that, I wish you a beautiful weekend. And remember, you are wonderful. You are powerful. Together, we are free. And together, we uncover new ways for our new world and our success. Thank you, guys.